It is Saturday, April 20th. Happy Saturday, happy 420 day to all who celebrate. And the Dong Report is back in your life. I am Matt Modi, and I have 3 home run predictions for you guys to lock in for today's MLB betting slate. While we did not get any of our dongs to cash yesterday, we were very, very close on 2 of them. Mike Trout had 3 separate outs that were considered sharply hit flyouts, which just means he crushed the baseball. It was a flyout, would have been a home run probably last year, but it wasn't because of the dead ball this year. Then we have Marcel Ozuna, 2 more hard hits yesterday. One of them went 395 feet, was not quite a home run. And then another one that was the second hardest hit of the entire game, just didn't have the launch angle, so it ended up being a single. 0-3 yesterday. No hiding that it's been a very rough start to this entire season. We're down about 17 units. No way to hide behind that. No way to spin zone that. It's just been rough. Last year, the success that we had was incredible. It's been like polar opposites versus last year and this year. Up over 61 units last year. Part of the reason why we haven't been able to have success this year, part of it is bad luck, as I mentioned, guys crushing the baseball. Majority of the reason is just because it's a dead baseball to start the year. If you look at expected home runs this year versus last year, they're down over 15% on what were home runs last year, but are not this year. Basically meaning like the way the ball is hit in terms of exit velocity and launch angle should have been home runs, were home runs last year, are not yet this year. That's part of the reason why home runs are down in general. Rumor has it that teams are getting new baseballs soon, so hopefully to fix that dead ball issue. That's the rumor, at least, that they're getting new baseballs to fix the dead ball issue. Once that happens, I'm confident that dongs are just going to start flying, and we're going to end the year going on an insane hot streak. So I would appreciate it, those of you watching who've stuck around with me, if you could like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. But enough of that. Let's get into today's home run picks. First up, in the Rangers versus Braves game, I'm going right back to Marcel Ozuna to hit a home run at plus 360 odds at FanDuel. As I mentioned, I went with him yesterday. He didn't come through for us, but I thought yesterday was good process. He was so close to getting a home run that I feel confident going back to him today. He had 2 hard hits, as I mentioned. That includes the second hardest hit of the entire game in terms of exit velocity, ended up being just a single, as I mentioned. That also includes another ball that he hit 395 feet that was so close to being a home run. Despite the fact that he missed this yesterday, he has been mashing on the entire season that I feel confident he's going to mash one today. He's got 5 home runs in his last 14 days. He's got an ISO rate of 35.4%. That's the 9th best ISO rate in this 14-day stretch. And more importantly, he has an absolutely incredible barrel rate of 25%. That's the 2nd best in the MLB in this stretch as well. ISO rate stands for isolated power, just measures power. Barrel rate measures just measures how well you hit the barrel of the bat when you actually make contact. Basically measures how well you're making solid contact. And a quarter of the time, Marcel Ozuna is making solid contact, which is a crazy, crazy metric for him. His fly ball ratio is admittedly a little bit low. It's at 32.5%. But because his ISO rate and his barrel rate are so high, along with a lot of his other advanced metrics like his pull rate is at 50%, that's a great number for home runs. So it makes sense why he's been able to hit so many home runs, despite the fact that he does have a low fly ball ratio just for that specific metric. And if you look at the pitching matchup, he's going up against Nathan Eovaldi of the Rangers. Definitely a pitcher that can give up a lot of home runs, especially to right-handed batters. Eovaldi has given up 3 home runs on the year. All 3 have come against right-handed hitters. On the year, he's allowing a barrel rate, Eovaldi is, like a barrel rate against him of 7.6%. Last year, that would have put him in bottom 30 of all pitchers in terms of barrel rate. And Eovaldi, he does throw a pretty mediocre fastball, and that's what Marcel Ozuna crushes. He has a runs above average of about 7.6 against fastballs specifically, which is a crazy number. If he's going to send 1 yard, it's going to be off a fastball from Eovaldi. And just to help us, there are 10-mile-per-hour winds blowing out of the stadium in this game. That's just going to help for carry. Let's hope Ozuna can right yesterday's wrongs, mash a home run for us. Next up, Rays versus Yankees game. I'm taking Giancarlo Stanton to hit a home run plus 400 odds at FanDuel. So this is another pretty decent weather game. There's going to be 8 to 10 mile per hour winds, again, blowing out of the stadium, blowing out to left field as well, which specifically helps for a pull hitter like Stanton, right? If you pull it to left field, the wind's just going to blow that farther to left field specifically. And we're getting plus 400 odds on him, which I think is a really, really good price. He's been hitting significantly better than Judge, and Judge's odds for a home run is down to plus 240. Now, I get that Judge obviously has a much, much larger sample size of showing extreme power, but recently, Stanton has been a better power hitter than Aaron Judge. It really hasn't even been close. He's got 4 home runs in his last 14 days, and his advanced power splits look just as good as Marcel Ozuna's. ISO rate of 35.9%. That's actually better than Ozuna. Ozuna, that's 7th best in the MLB in the last 14 days. He's got a barrel rate of 19.4%. Another incredible number. That's good for 12th best in the MLB in this stretch. Squarely in the excellent category in both of those very, very important metrics. And then in terms of other advanced metrics, he also has a little bit of a lower fly ball rate of 41.9%. Not quite as low as Marcel Ozuna, but still lower than the 45% threshold that we generally look for. But also similar to Marcel Ozuna, he's got a very good pull rate of 48.4%. That's going to help in this game. And he has an insanely high average exit velocity. That means when he makes contact, what is the average exit velocity of the contact that he makes on pitches? It's 95.3 miles per hour. For context, anything that has an exit velocity of 95 miles per hour and above is considered a hard hit, which basically means every time on average that Stanton makes contact, it is considered a hard hit. And that number of average exit velocity, a little bit of a tongue twister, 95.3, that's good for 6th best in the MLB in the last 14 days. He's going up against Zach Eflin of the Rays. Eflin has given up 4 home runs on the year, 3 of which have been to right-handed hitters. He also allows a barrel rate of 8%, so even worse than the Eovaldi number that I mentioned. It would have been bottom 30 last year. And he allows a 48% hard hit percentage against right-handed hitters specifically, which is a pretty bad number. So Stanton has been hitting the ball incredibly hard. Eflin gives up a lot of hard hits to righties. Seems like a dream matchup for Stanton to dong one for us. And then lastly, our third and final pick of the video, back to the Rangers versus Braves game. And I'm taking Matt Olson to hit a home run plus 425 odds at Fanatics. And you can also get that at BetMGM. So as for our last play, we're going with Matt Olson, who has admittedly been in a little bit of a dong slump, something I can definitely relate to. But if you look at almost every single advanced metric for Matt Olson, there are definitely signs that he's going to come out of this slump. And I'm talking about advanced metrics in the last 14 days. That includes the majority of the time that he's been in this slump. He obviously gets the same benefit as Marcel Ozuna as the wind blowing out of the stadium. That's just going to help for carry. And he's going up against a right-handed pitcher who Olson has historically much better success against right-handed pitching than he does against lefties. 2 of his 3 home runs this year have come against righties. And on the entire season, his ISO rate against right-handed pitching is at 25%, so within the excellent category. And as I mentioned, in the last 2 weeks specifically, he's been in a slump. Due to that home run slump, his ISO rate is lower than the 20% threshold that we generally look for. He hasn't hit a home run since April 7th, so that makes sense. But look at all of his other advanced metrics. All of them look incredible, showing signs of someone that's going to come out of this slump. He's got a pull rate of 65.5%. That's a crazy high pull rate. I mean, that's a ridiculous number. Generally, the best home run hitters have a high pull rate. He's got a barrel rate of 15.6%. That's within the excellent category. And he has an average exit velocity even higher than Giancarlo Stanton at 95.8 miles per hour of his average exit velocity. It's the same thing. More often than it's the same thing as Stanton. When he makes contact on the baseball, on average, it is considered a hard hit. And that exit velocity of 95.8, that's the 3rd highest in the MLB in the last 2 weeks. Now, as I mentioned, anything that is 95 miles per hour and above is considered a hard hit. And if you look at the last 14 days, 8 batters have an average exit velocity of 95 miles per hour and above. 5 of those 8 batters have 4 or more home runs. 1 of them has 2 home runs, and then Olson is stuck only with 1. To me, that shows the fact that he hasn't hit a home run, or hasn't hit a ton of home runs, I should say. That's an outlier. That is something that is going to change, hopefully very soon. Now, as I mentioned, Eovaldi has not given up yet a home run to a lefty this year specifically. This is still a batter-pitcher matchup that it has an extreme advantage in favor of the batter, in favor of Olson. So I'm not really scared off by the fact that to begin the season, Eovaldi hasn't given up a home run to a lefty. It's going to be electric when Olson and Ozuna hit home runs and back-to-back at-bats, giving us an awesome day. And that's all we got. 3 home run predictions for you guys to lock in. If one of these 3 hit a home run, we will at least be profitable for the day. If all 3 hit a home run, we'll be rich and we'll do a nice dent into our losses to start the season. And that's all we got. Would appreciate it if you could like the video, comment, subscribe, all that good stuff. And then the last thing I'll say is that I do have a Dub Club where I send out all of the plays you see me give out on Twitter. It's only $5 a month, and it gets you the plays sent directly to your phone immediately, sent via text, via email, or via Telegram, however you want it. So for those of you that don't care about the YouTube videos, or those of you that just want to make sure you can get plays in before the odds change, I have the Dub Club, $5 a month. If you're interested, link to it is in the description of the video as well as the pinned comment. And now that's all we got. Appreciate everybody for watching, and have a good one.